Hey guys, it's JC's Reborn Journey here. How are you guys today? Still working on Jackson, and I figured that right now I would do a quick Q&A video with you. You guys have asked me a few questions, and I don't like to answer them on comments. I like to answer them in a video. So I have some people that ask me some questions. A lot of this is actually regarding my transgender, which is fine. I have no problem with that. So we are going to dive right into these questions. Not that many questions, but you know how I talk. So 5 questions or whatever questions there is could take me an hour, right? So let's get right into it. So the first person said to me, what made you want to transition to male to female? So, first of all, I've been a boy since I was 5. And as a 5-year-old, I remember going into my mom's room and wanting to go back in because I knew where babies came from at that point, and I wanted to try again because I came out wrong. So, I just recently asked my mom, how old was I when I finally made you start making me dress like a boy? She said 7. So I have been very adamant. My family has always known that I've been a boy. You know, back in those days, it was more like, oh, she's just a tomboy, and just, oh, she's making up every excuse in the book except that I'm not trans. So, because back in those days, transgender was not a word. I mean, it was there, but nobody talked about it, especially in middle class families. So, it was hard because I was different and no one else, everybody was treating me wrong because I was different. I was being bullied by everybody, family, both homes, school, you name it, I was. And then you wonder why I wanted to die at the age of 12. So, my siblings, just so you can get an idea with siblings. So, like I said, I've been adamant since I was 5 years old. I've always wanted to transition. I wanted to transition at 18, looked into it, but at that time, I was still not mentally healthy in any way to do any of that. And I just thought, oh, I'm bipolar. It's just something that's never going to happen, and I'm just going to be miserable my whole life. So, I always wanted to continue transitioning, but never knew how to do that until when I was with Dennis. And then I started looking into how people on YouTube were transitioning, and I go, okay, so it's really not as hard as it looks. And basically, it put a fire under my butt when Dennis did die, because Dennis and I, we already discussed that I was going to start transitioning, but I wanted to try and have a baby first. So by the time I turned 40, I would transition whether I had a baby or not. So with his death, I just transitioned before the age of 40, which I'm happy I did, So, then the next question is, did you get top and bottom surgery? So, you guys must understand about surgeries when it comes to transgender and female to male. It's easier for a male to transition to a female than it is for a female to transition to a male. So, I've had top surgery and I've had a full hysterectomy. That means all 4 organs are out. You have to go to a specialist for that type of surgery. A lot of OBGYNs, they're just going to take out, maybe the ovaries or the uterus or whatever. I don't even know. They don't even take out the fallopian tubes. So I had to find out what organs were there because I had no idea what women have down there. So I had to actually look it up, do the research, and then talk to the doctor. And I said, okay, I want this organ, this organ, this organ. I want all of them gone. But I had to go to a specialist that deals with people who are transgender. So they will be able to cater to your needs. So not every doctor will do that. And you have to have, there's paperwork involved, and there's doctors involved, and there's not lawyers, but there's to change your name legally, that was a hassle and all that stuff. And then, my only regret I would have to say is not forcing family and friends to call me by what I wanted to be called by. And then when I transitioned and went to a different name legally, because I've even had one aunt or something, I don't even remember who it was so traumatizing to me, I don't even remember who said this to me, but we were, and it was Christmas, and we were over there, and they were calling me by my birth name, which I do not go by. And even then, and Dennis was right there, and he was not happy with the whole situation either. And I'm like, I go by JC. And they're like, oh no, I'm calling you by your birth name until you legally change your name. Like, really? BITCH? Like, I was very taken back by that, and very upset and very hurt that I thought we're family. And you're going to treat me like an asshole? Like, oh, what I'm asking you to do is inappropriate? Like, if someone, his name is Jason, but he wants to be called Jay, you have no problem calling him Jay. So, my name started with a J, started with a C, just call me JC. Not that hard. It was my name, you know? And I was going like that through I was 21. Since I was 21. My girlfriend was the same name as my birth name. So I decided I wanted to go by JC because I didn't want to go by my birth name anymore. I was 21. I wanted that gone. So I ended up going by JC since I was 21. And when I got in my 30s and my brother and my sister started dating, and then they started misgendering me or telling people my name. And when I tell you my name is JC, I don't care if Joe Schmo told you whatever. If I tell you my name's JC, that means call me JC, not by what they want you to call me. So I had a big problem with that, and I had a big outing with Facebook on it. Mom got mad, blah, 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 blah. So I really said something about it. I'm like, enough. No one needs to call me by my birth name. I effing hate it. It's not my name. That's not what I go by. I'm a boy. I'm not a girl. So stop giving me a girl name. And stop calling me by girl pronouns and girl everything. So that's when it really started coming about again. Because when I was with Dennis, I was still not content with my body and my sex. But he at least made me comfortable being in my own skin, kind of. But then after 5 years of being with him, the whole thing started all over again. Like, I'm really having a hard time being in my skin because this is my wrong skin. It's not supposed to be what I'm supposed to be. So then I started doing some research and all that stuff. And then a lot of it, everything was done behind closed doors, whether it was, buying Packers and testing them out. But see, with Dennis, at least I could, put something in my pants and I could be like, hey, Dennis, does this look normal? Like, does this look accurate? Is it too bulgy? Is it too this or too that? So having Dennis here would have made it a lot easier for me. We could have joked about it. That's, how we kind of did it throughout our thing. But he always knew I was transgender. His kids did not. So anyways, I do not have bottom surgery. So bottom surgery is 4 surgeries. It takes a long time. You actually have to go to a doctor, which there is none in the state of Massachusetts. They have to do, you have to probably go through about a year to 18 months of removing hair at a hair removing place, which costs money. And sometimes insurance don't cover it. So that's a problem. And then there's 4 surgeries. Now, supposedly they're starting men's transplants, but when I really found out that transplants actually can not last forever, they only last for about 15, 20 years. So is that in my best interest? So do I want to go this way or do I want to go that way? So I'm really just undecided. I'd like to be able to speak to a doctor. We can't even speak to a doctor because there's no doctor in the state of Massachusetts to talk to. So it makes it very difficult. So doctors, if you're watching, you need to come to Massachusetts to start doing transplants. You know what, to be honest with you, when I was a kid, my mom told me, she goes, when you grow up, you're going to end up making penises for a living. Because they used to try to make devices for standing to pee, standing up. It never worked. But at least it tried. Come on, I was 10, 11, So they're going to, grow up to make penises. And sure enough, she was right. You ready? I make penises for a living. So, no, so, it would be nice for them to they made a heart, like an artificial heart. They should make an artificial penis. And then all we have to do is, they have things that you can grow skin now. So why are you doing skin grafts when you can actually just take a piece of our technology, our skin, and do and grow skin. Like, I know you can do this. I mean, they have it on. I mean, don't tell me that Grey's Anatomy is so off base, but they grow parts, body parts now. Like, why can't we do that? So grow a pee-pee for me, or design a pee-pee for me, and then grow the skin for me using my own skin, and then I'm not going to reject it. And then everything is all set and done. If you were to make, like, if I was going to make a artificial penis, I would have a device in the ball sack where one would be the functioning, almost like the button to make the penis stand up, and then on the other side would be almost like a sexual fluid thing. So like anything that's going from the female part will be going into that part, and then that way when you're ready to ejaculate, that is going in the woman, or out, even though it's probably gonna be clear, it's probably not gonna be white, it's fine, something. I mean, I've seen guys have clear, ejaculations too. So it wouldn't be, but I wanted it to work and to be as soft and as a penis. So I don't know. Do I have to design this for you people? Because I don't have don't you need like something engineer degree for something like that? But it'd be nice to make an artificial penis for trans men. Make it a lot simple. Alright, anyways, let's move on. So, as you know, I do not have bottom surgery, but it would be something I want before the day I die. Am I close to my biological father? The answer is no. I am trying so here's the thing. Since I sobered up, my goal from last year was to start communicating with everybody. That means send them a text. Hi, how you doing? Give them a call. Talk to them on their level if you have to, just to be able to talk to somebody. I even tried to communicate with my sister more often. My brother Michael, I still need to work on. Even though we're closer than any of the other siblings, I try to give a shout out to my brother Danny. I'm really trying to be part of the family, and even friends, just reaching out, making sure that I'm in contact with them all the time. So it's a work in progress, especially when you're trying to communicate with everybody. But if I don't do this, no one's going to call me. That's the sad part. No one. Not even my mother. So if I wasn't in contact with others, no one would be in contact with me. And then you wonder why I went off the deep end. Maybe it's because I didn't have support. I mean, your support at your house is not supporting me. So, but I'm obviously doing better. I did it all on my own with no support, without a support team, and look what I was able to accomplish. So if you had a support team, imagine what you can accomplish. All right, so then here's another question that somebody had asked me. I had mentioned before that my stepfather isn't comfortable. I rewrote this how I would be reading it to you, but she said I had mentioned before that my stepfather isn't comfortable with my transitioning. Does he treat you differently than before you transitioned? So here's the thing. Let me clear that up for you. My father, my biological father, has more of a problem with me transitioning than anybody else in my family. Okay? I've wanted to be a boy since I was 5 and very adamant about not dressing like that. I mean, my stepfather used to pay me $20 a week to dress like a girl to go to school. And that only lasted 3 weeks because I was like freaking out. I couldn't do it. And what did I do? You want to know what I did? I bought a baby. I bought a doll. So now you know where the dolls come. I mean, I've always been a nurturing type of child person. So he's not uncomfortable with my transition. He's uncomfortable with me having a shirt off in front of him. That's a difference. But yes, everybody does treat me differently, even in my family, than before. But they're a lot more supportive than you would expect. So, like my brother Danny, last November, my brother Danny and his family came up here, and we were doing, a lot of stuff together with the family. And my brother Danny, you know, I was talking. We were able to talk about this. We were able to talk about the hair and the balding, and we were actually able to talk to, like, we were two brothers talking about brother stuff. Okay. And then I was talking to him about, like, how I was like this, that, and the other thing, something about the face. So he actually took me outside and helped me shave my face to show me, oh, you can do that, you know, because I was like, oh, I really wanted to look nice, this, that, and the other thing. I would like a goatee, whatever. I don't even remember what I was saying. But yeah, he helped me shave my face. So it's brought my family actually closer together in certain points. Now, my mother does say to me that it wouldn't matter whether or not it was me that didn't have a shirt on or my brother Michael. My mom said that my stepfather is just very a shy person around anybody. So she said it's not that he's specifically pointing it out to you, but you have to understand you've always been his daughter and now you're his son. So you had over 30 years to figure it out. Get over it. Like, you know. But no, my stepfather does treat me differently, though, now. He does treat me more like a man. Men treat men differently than they treat women. But he also says to me, I mean, there are some things that I really take to heart with him. And at the beginning, when I was transitioning, he was trying to teach me how that you have to man up and be a man. And this is how you be a man. And I look up to my stepfather. So if I could be half the man as him, I would be a very happy person on my deathbed. You know what I mean? Like, if I could be half the man as him, like a quarter, I'll take a quarter. Like, I would like to be, I look up to him as a man that I want to, I mean, obviously, I don't want everything about him. Like, I don't want to be him. But I look up to him of how a man needs to treat a woman, how a man needs to run a home, finances, everything. So I look up to him in that aspect. There are a lot of things I can't talk about to my stepdad and my mom. Like, you know, things that you could kind of joke around and talk about with your friends, possibly, like sex or different things on the lines of that. But it was funny when you're sitting there for the first time with your parents and you're on a one-to-one with them and you're checking out a girl and your stepdad catches you. Yeah, that was pretty funny. I'm like, he's like, I'm like looking and he could tell that I'm looking like a guy. Like, I would never did this before, so he knew that it was the testosterone. And I'm looking and I'm checking her out and whatever, and he's just like, too young. I looked back around and he's just like, too young. So we do joke around. He's just not yet comfortable with my shirt off, which is fine. I mean, everybody's going to have their own things. He thought he was never going to be able to call me Jaden, and he does. You know, I gave people, everybody that were my family and friends from before I transitioned, I was giving them 5 years to transition with me. For those that can't respect me after 5 years, those are the people I have to let go. At this time, it was just my grandfather's wife. That's it. Everybody else seems to be, other than my dad, my biological dad, still has a little bit of a hard time. Like right now, he doesn't call me by name. I've asked him multiple times to please not call me that. That's not my name anymore. It is obviously hard for a parent that, you know, you were born that name, you were raised that name, so it does take them time, but that's why I was giving people 5 years to transition with me. That 5-year mark is coming up in September. But I guess when you think about it, the whole name thing didn't change until October. So, all right, I'll give everybody to October. But now everybody seems to do pretty well. A lot of my friends, I had some friends growing up. My friend Chris Daly, he does not call me Jaden. He calls me Jay. But he's the only one in the world that I allow to call me Jay. Why? Because I only understand it by the sound of his voice. I go by vocals. So because I have learning disabilities, I am actually quite intelligent. People think I use my learning disabilities as a disability. No, I don't. I'm actually telling you my learning disability so you give me a frickin' break and help me understand what the hell you're trying to say. Or, you know, give me a chance. Like, I'm trying to explain to them how the disability is interfering maybe with the conversation or with whatever. I'm not using it as a disability at all, because in fact my disability is actually to my advantage, because I'm a lot more intelligent than most people because of my learning disability. It's almost like my brain rewired and and just works differently, so it's more intelligent than most people, or it works with a different part of its brain. So it like activated a different part of the brain. And I just realized this back in May. I mean, I have a photographic memory. I mean, people tell me, oh, no. Like one time I was telling my brother something, and I remember like it was yesterday. I could see the visions and everything. And he's like, no, you're wrong. It wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about. Men are dumb because men don't have a long attention span, except for the ones that do have a photographic memory. And not a lot do. Some do, but not a lot. It's more in, I think, I'm going to guess and say it's more in women than men. But anyways, so I have a photographic memory, but I also have, so you can't tell with me how I feel or how, I mean, even Angel, she's having to learn that when I get excited, it may sound like anger, but I'm like, dude, why are you mad? I'm like, I'm excited. That was why I was getting, like, you can think that I'm angry or getting upset, but I'm actually getting excited, and I'm talking about something, and you can never understand me. You can't read me like you can read everybody else. How's that for an answer? Because, people say if you look to the left or the right, they're lying. Well, to me, I look all kinds of ways, all right? And I'll explain it. So if I'm looking up to my left, that's a photographic. Is it up to my left? No, up to my left means that you're explaining something to me and I'm putting it in front of me to see it, to show how it's being designed. So that's up to the left. When I go straight to the left, that is me. That's my photographic memory. When I look up to here, up top, to my right, that is my imagination. And if I am looking down to the left and keep going like this back and forth, that means you just said something and I can't remember what you said, and I'm trying to remember what you just said. So I'm kind of trying to go back to see what you said, and I can, especially if I smoke weed, forget it. I won't even understand. I won't even be able to get it. I don't know if I really look down to the right, though. So those are the only ones I know. So you'll never know whether I'm lying to you or not lying to you, because guess what? I'll look to you straight in the face and I'll lie to you. And you wouldn't even know. So I don't need to, I'm what they call, I could be a professional liar if I want to be, but I don't, because I like the truth better. But the problem is with the truth, a lot of people can't handle it. That's the problem. So, yeah, I mean, everybody does treat me differently. Some are better than others. I've had no really major problems, family-wise or friend-wise. I've had some friends that have been with me for over 30 years and has always known me, grew up with me, knowing me as, who I was when I was a kid, and I'm not that. I never really was that. That's what they see. So for a while, my friend was misgendering me and misnaming me, but now she's finally coming around and getting it. I think for the last couple of years, she's finally gotten it. Those people you have to be a little bit more patient with, especially when they don't see you enough. But no, now she definitely doesn't misgender me, and she definitely does call me Jaden. She knows me long enough now to know that. So that's that. So the next thing was asked was, what is the scariest thing in the world to you? I think the scariest thing to me was what happened, and that was Dennis dying. Right now, I don't really have any fears. I'm not afraid of anything right now. If you're going to be scared about things, then you're not going to be able to enjoy living life. I was very scared before transitioning, and I need to go. I have a phone call. I'll talk to you in a few minutes. I'm sorry. I had a phone call, then I had another phone call. All right, listen. We have to have a talk with God, okay? Because we really need work, not for an hour. I have to go 16 miles to a job for an hour and make $25. Is that even worth it? But at the same token, it's going to be reoccurring twice a week. So what? I make $50 in a week to go, to pay probably $10 in gas to get to. I don't know. Um, it is what it is. I'm still waiting for the what would be nice is if I got more jobs on those days in near that area that was reoccurring to make it worth it. But we'll see what happens. So we're going back to what we were talking about. So we're talking about these. So someone said, what was the scariest thing in the world to you? We've already talked about that. I don't have anything that really scares me right now. I would say the only thing right now that's really scaring me is not having enough money to go see Angel in September and having enough stuff for the party. So those are the two things that are, and it's not really scaring me, it's just concerning me. So nothing really scares me. But before I had phobias and all kinds of stuff. So I was scared to drive. I didn't drive for 5 years. I was terrified of bugs. I wouldn't even leave the house. I'd run to the car when it was summer out. So it's very unique to be able to now be almost like somebody totally different. And don't really, like, I can feel what JC was feeling, but I don't have the phobias that JC has. Of course, luckily, I've kept my my cleaning and organization skills together intact. So that's the good thing. So Jaden, though, JC wouldn't let anybody, even her, JC, put their socks on the ground. It had to go in the hamper. Now Jaden will throw his socks on the ground, and then JC has to yell at him to put him in the hamper. So then the next question is how do your siblings relate to you transitioning? So again, let me explain to you the age difference so you can kind of get an idea. So me and my brother Danny were 3 years apart. So when Michael was born, I was 9, and when Lauren was born, I was 12. So when Michael was born, Danny would have been 10, 11, 12. He was 12, and when Lauren was born, he was 15. So get an idea of difference. So Danny bullied me all as a child. Once he left the house and we grew up, we don't really have any issues with each other now, especially now that he's married and, is an adult. So he treats me now like an adult. So I don't have any problems with Danny. Lauren is in a different generation, and so is Michael, but they also grew up with me dressing like a boy and knowing I was a boy and wanted to be a boy. So transitioning was very easy for all of us. If you've known me for over 30-something years, it was 36 years, but they didn't know me that long, but my family did. Parents did. But when I was transitioning at 36, and at that time, my brother and my sister were both adults, and my sister has a few transgender friends. I know Michael has his own thing, but they are happy having a sibling like me because I got them to be more understanding and accepting of people. So they were happy about that. So when I was transitioning, I was talking to my brother Mikey. I call him Mikey, and I'm the only one that's allowed to call him Mikey, by the way. So Mikey and I, we were talking when I first transitioned, and I was telling him how he had to tell me how to act like a boy and be like a man and all this stuff. He goes, "What?" He goes, "You don't have to do anything. You already do it all." He's like, "You've been a man your entire life, so now you're just transitioning into one." He's like, "But you've always acted and behaved, and I mean," he's like, "you are a guy." But I don't think he really understood the difference between JC and Jaden. But I do. And my brother Michael, he does not want to know any details. So any transgender details or knowing the difference between a man and a woman, if it's very, not intimate, but like a very detailed or graphic or whatever, like he's still... and my brother Michael is more opinionated, so it's hard for me now to really talk to him about anything. My sister, she accepts me. She always has accepted me. I think the hardest thing with her was she never got to grow up and have a sister. She had 3 brothers, so she got to be the baby girl and got spoiled and got rotten, but she never really had a close relationship with me because I was not a girl, I was a boy. So she had a closer relationship with my cousin, and I didn't like that, but whatever, I don't care. Now I don't care, but I didn't like it for a while because it's like, okay, that's your cousin, you won't even talk to your own sibling. So I'm like, oh, maybe we should go and do her nails sometime. Like, what do I have to talk to girls in order for girls to want to hang out with me? So those are all the questions. There's nothing more that I really need to add. If you guys have any questions that you'd like to ask me, feel free to ask me. Keep in mind, I am a very unique transgender person. I've always been an open transgender man, and I don't mind educating people. I don't mind sharing my stuff with people, my story, whatever, to help other people. But a lot of questions that you would be asking me, I would not necessarily go around asking every trans man or trans woman these questions because I guess a lot of them are very too sensitive because they were either born a girl or a boy. So they still act like that, even transitioning. Some may have no problem, but I know a lot of them, I guess, are really sensitive and they don't like being asked, what's in their pants, for example. Me, I don't give a crap because to educate the world, I would rather educate the world and answer your question than to not answer that question and then you wonder. It doesn't bother me. So I feel like I was put here on earth to educate and help other people. I mean, that's what I feel like I was here for. Now it's really trying to find a way for me to be able to take care of myself and enjoy myself and be confident in myself and like myself or love myself and be able to help people and, help others and, better their lives, I spent too many hours, too much time, thinking about regrets and all that time wasted and thinking negative thoughts. It's harder to think positive than it is to think negative. So I don't think negative at all. I mean, so what? I haven't had work for a month. That doesn't bother me. I mean, it's just that time of year. In January, I had the same thing. No work came in. February, other than that company, I would probably not have had any work January or February. So my busy months, I know, are September, October, November, December, and then probably April, March, end of March, April, May, beginning of June, nothing the rest of the June, and the beginning of July. So that's what I know so far. I'm sure it's not like that all summer long, but when you're getting a call for a reoccurring job for 1 hour in a town that's probably about 16 miles away, that kind of sucks. But whatever, because you never know when you have a customer like that. You never know, they may end up needing more hours. You start with that 1 hour, you work with them, you see how that works. If they see that you're doing good and they have friends and they start advocating for you and say, hey, listen, I got this guy and he's really good at what he's doing and let me give you his number. So you just never know. I can't really shoot down any jobs. I try not to, no matter what it is. I will shoot down a job if you're not going to give me the money I'm looking for. Like if that was a $15 an hour job and you wanted me for 1 hour, it's not worth my time. That's why I charge $25 and up. $25 I do for more like cleanings and, possibly organization jobs. I do $30 to $35 for landscaping and $35 and up for moving jobs. But if I'm desperate and I need some money, and I happen to find a moving job for $20 an hour or $25 an hour, I'm going to take it. I don't care. I just want to work. Like, I do want to make at least 25 and up, but if I have to make 20 just to get out of the house and do something and make a couple of bucks, I'd rather make a couple of bucks than nothing. And I think my friend Chris Daly would agree with me. Like, sometimes you've got to make nothing to make something of yourself. So, it'd be nice to save money. So hopefully we could start working every day. Of course, I'm sure it's better to start slowly because it's been a while. It's better to go and have a couple of jobs a week than to work every single day all at one time. So, but I'm really hoping and praying that I get more work. So, that's my goal. So now I'm going to go back and continue painting Jackson. And that's really it. So if you guys have any more questions, whether it's transgender related or not, feel free to leave me any comments down there. Leave me some questions. Let me know what you'd like to know. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like down below. Feel free to leave me comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys back here the next time. You have a great day, guys.